Hi, my first presentation to customers was in 1998. I was a new employee at Sun Microsystems and I was presenting about one of our new workgroup servers. It was horrible. I did prepare, I did read those slides, I stood in front of a room full of IT professionals and I completely froze. I thought presenting was about the technology, about the features, about the data, the specifications and all that stuff. But I was wrong. Today, more than 25 years later, and after coaching hundreds of other speakers, I know the best presentations aren't the most technical ones. The best presentations are the most human ones. So today I'm going to show you the 6 elements that can transform your presentation from boring technology to human, exciting, remarkable. I learned this from a colleague back at AWS called Blaine Sundrud. Blaine, if you see this, thank you. And he framed this as the 6 stimuli that you can use to access the lizard brain within your brain, which overrules everything. I prefer to call these 6 stimuli or 6 elements the elements that make your presentation more human, more accessible. So let's start with the first one, emotion. As human beings, we have emotions, we have empathy, we feel. When giving a technology presentation, it's easy to lean back on data and logic. But emotions is what make people feel and care. So the next time you give a technical presentation, show them the frustration, the pain and all the negative feelings of the problem that you're addressing. And then let them feel the excitement, the relief, all of the good things about your solution. That's how you give people feelings and attach them to the technology you're presenting, and then people care about your solution. That's also the reason why I started this video with a personal emotional story. It just helps people relate better to the content. But emotions alone are not enough. Humans are visual creatures. Number 2, visuals. Fun fact, we humans evolved as hunter-gatherers. Look at this forest here. That's our natural habitat. So why are we using boring bullet points and tiny little text in slides? Nobody wants to see that. As hunter-gatherers, as humans, we have very powerful eyes that can take in a lot of information, a lot of detail at once. So use images on every little slide. Are you still skeptical? Let me show you. You smiled, didn't you? That's the power of images. Now imagine using images on every slide intentionally to make a point or to create an emotional connection with your audience. Use images as much as possible. It's not about what you show, it's how you show the difference. Number 3, contrast. Contrast is the hinge between the before and the after. Our senses only work through contrast, through comparing different values. We don't have absolute measurements when we see or hear or gather information. So instead of saying my solution supports 500 megadodos, say something like 500 megadodos, that's 10 times more than the next best solution. Give people something to compare. Use contrast as much as possible so people can feel the difference. Light, dark. You can speak very loudly, or you can draw your audience in with a whisper about the cool new things that you're presenting. Use contrast. This includes silence. See how powerful silence can be? Or very loud and excited when you're doing something or when you're presenting something really cool. Any type of contrast adds emotion to your presentation, makes it much more accessible. So contrast is how we see the difference. But there is a much bigger challenge we need to address. Oh, sorry. Number 4, clear transitions with beginnings and endings. When you're on stage, what's your biggest competition? Is it the next tech company that's going to present after you or before you? Is it a different solution from a competitor? No. Your biggest competition on stage is this. Mobile phones are powerful mind control devices. They have been optimized to capture your audience's attention. People look at their phones and they scroll and they're always looking for something new. What's the next new thing? What's the next new thing? Maybe it's even better. They always want something new and exciting to give them this dopamine hit. In order to compete with those mobile phones, you need to give people clear entry points, clear interrupts, so that they can look up from their phones, look at you, and see what's happening next. How do you do this? You can be very clear. This concludes our demo. Let's move on to our customer examples. Very clear transition between one section of your presentation and the next one. Or you can do these with hand gestures like myself. This is the demo, the next here. Even better, you can walk to one end of the stage and then you walk to the other end of the stage as you start your new segment. Use section dividers in your slides. Every cue that sends an interrupt to your audience, telling them something new is coming, is going to help them look up from their mobile phone and pay attention to you instead. So work in as many transitions as possible into your content. Make every section of your slide deck only 1 minute or less. That gives you enough interrupts to keep people engaged and to keep them following you instead of their mobile phones. Win the game of attention against the mobile phones, and that will help you win your presentation. Okay, so we are using emotions, visuals, contrast, transitions, but there's one more way you can use to make your message stick. Look at this moss here, or the mushrooms over there. Isn't it beautiful? I almost expect a hobbit coming up here anytime. So what's number 5? Tangible examples, like moss, right? Or the mobile phone that I showed you last time. As humans, we are empathetic creatures. We want to touch and feel and experience things firsthand. So give them something to feel. If you're demoing a software solution, show a demo. If your solution has a hardware component, bring it on stage. At least let them see something that they can touch and feel after your presentation. Tell them the story of how you worked with your customer on this painful problem, and then work in the excitement as you together discovered the wonderful solution that you're presenting. Make people feel things. Make things tangible. Add all of the details that help your audience really slip into your customers or your solutions perspective so that they can experience things firsthand. It works with everything. You don't have to have a physical product. It's enough to tell them stories about how you worked with customers and built this great solution together. So work in as many tangible examples as possible. And finally, here's the most important human element of all. Number 6, make it personal. The uncomfortable truth is everyone in your audience would rather spend their time on vacation, reading a good book, or spending time with family than sitting in this conference room where you're probably presenting in. So you have to make it worth their time. How do you do this? Make it about them. When I was speaker coaching at the last re:Invent conference, I had one person coming in and they were a product manager. And their presentation immediately went on with our product, our product, our product. This feature, this feature, this feature that we build with. We have. To be honest, and I told them, nobody cares about your product. Nobody cares about your feature. People care about themselves. So explain the product, the solution, the features in terms of how they benefit your audience. Instead of saying, our database solution is the best database solution on the planet because of these 4 features, say something like, now you can enjoy a stressful, fast-growing business because you're using the best database solution on the planet that gives you freedom to build your business and make it profitable. Same features, different framing. As you build your presentation, frame everything around your audience. Make your audience the hero of your stories. And that will transform how they perceive your products and services and solutions. So when the audience leaves the room, they should know exactly how their lives are going to be better because of your product or solution. So last year, 26 years after my first presentation, I was invited to work as a speaker coach at AWS re:Invent conference in Las Vegas. During 1 week, I coached 40, maybe 50 people right before their big moment on stage at re:Invent in front of hundreds, sometimes even more than 1,000 people in the audience. And during every coaching session, I went with them through these 6 elements and I asked them, how are you adding emotion? Where are your visuals? How about contrast? Are you using transitions? Are you giving them clear beginnings and endings? Do you have tangible examples? Are you making this about your audience, helping them understand how it benefits them? The speakers were all very different. They had all very different things they could improve in their presentations, but they were all very delighted at the end because they felt that they now have found their human connection. Some of them even came back after their session to tell me how well this went and how excited they were and how positive they felt the energy in the room. Your anxiety as a speaker can transform into positive excitement if you find that human connection with your audience. So it's not about the slides, it's not about rehearsing, it's about connecting with your audience, and you connect with your audience by adding these human elements into your presentation and your delivery. I hope these 6 elements are helpful for you, and I hope they help you and your technical solution get the attention that you deserve. Now, it's not the end, there's much more. These 6 elements are actually just one part in a 7-part checklist that I put together for tech presenters that you can use to improve your next presentation. So please check out my blog post, which I'm putting into the text description here, and to learn about all the other 7 things you can add or change or pay attention to in your presentation as you put together your next wonderful tech talk. Now go and make your next presentation remarkable. Thank you.